In my most recent stream that I did last week that was edited into this video, SpongeTruths Can't Stop Lying, I went over 2 different SpongeTruths videos, and both of them had a lot of like theory-esque things. They weren't exactly theory videos, but they had stuff that was very theory-like. Like for example, the video that's in the thumbnail here, it was about the flower clouds. So basically the first video is they took like they were like saying like, what are the flower clouds? And they were like going all in on the flower clouds. And I kept saying over and over again in this video, I was like they're just clouds. It's just the art direction of the show. Like, stop taking it so seriously. And I got a lot of comments, a lot of great comments, that it came off a little bit like I was against the concept of like theories, of like taking little details in a show and over analyzing it and acting like it means something bigger, it means its own story. And I did have someone who said the only reason you're doing this is because they're AI. If they were an AI, if a person did this, you would be fine with it. So like you should criticize like what it actually does, not just the fact that it's AI. And I would like to say that it is and it isn't. So the fact that it's AI makes it shallow. So the fact that the AI is making a video on the flower clouds, it makes it a stretch. So to compare it to the Alex Bale Mrs. Puffs theory, which was a fantastic video. My fiance and I, we sat down, we watched the whole thing. I took a whole like page of notes on it. Fantastic video. It was a work of art. It was a work of art. Alex Bale, great job. He got 22 million views. This is his most popular video. But the Mrs. Puffs dark secret, beyond just the fact that this was made by a person and SpongeTruths is made by a robot, the Mrs. Puff theory has a specific central thesis, a thing that it's trying to say. Now, the SpongeTruths video also did that. What it was trying to say was that the flower clouds were like living organisms, and it had a bunch of really stuff I found offensive about like Steven Hillenburg, how it was like talking about like, oh, Steven Hillenburg intended this as a whatever, and it used a lot of like emotional language, you know, which is really messed up because we know that SpongeTruths has never actually watched the show, so they're using the death of the creator that is emotional to a lot of people who did watch the show to like get views on their video. So like they did have a thesis, like technically, but it was so shallow. It was like, oh, like I think the flower clouds, like they're just like microorganisms or whatever. And you know, I'm not going to recap my whole SpongeTruths Can't Stop Lying, you know, but I do want to say that there is a difference between what Alex Bale does and what SpongeTruths does, and it all really lies in the amount of substance that you get out of the central thesis of the video. The Mrs. Puffs theory video tells its own story. The theory states that Mrs. Puff is not Mrs. Puff. It's a secret identity, and she lived in New Kelp City, had a different bad student like SpongeBob. That bad student caused havoc, and she had to change her name and get a new identity. And it has a bunch of other cool stuff in it too. And the theory itself, the way that it's set up, it tells a story. It tells its own story using the elements of storytelling that were in these SpongeBob episodes. And I think that's really cool. I think that's art. I mean, it's a story. It has like a narrative and everything. It's like it talks about how Mrs. Puff doesn't want to make the same mistake with SpongeBob that she did in the past where it destroyed the town. And it's like, that's a story. That's a lesson, you know, like that's valuable to watch. Like watching this video, it's more than just being like, oh, it's like silly SpongeBob this, you know, it's like looking at SpongeBob clips. It's like, it has an actual narrative to it. And also the Mrs. Puff theory, this Alex Bale video, and I assume his other ones, there are distinct moments where the video promotes media literacy.
Which means everything we see is symbolic. And
there it is. Which means everything we see is symbolic. That's all I needed to hear. I don't want to play too much of Alex Bale's video. Again, you should go watch it yourself. But he just said it's symbolic. So that promotes media literacy. He's talking about the episode Doing Time, and I actually talked about it in a different stream. I think it was the No Villains Are Safe stream, where they were trying to use Doing Time as like evidence of like SpongeBob being a criminal or like needing to have a criminal record. And Doing Time, I said, was a bad example because Doing Time, it's ambiguous if it even really happened, if it was in Mrs. Puff's head. The Mrs. Puff theory completely acknowledges that. It says, is it in Mrs. Puff's head? And it uses it in the theory. This theory promotes media literacy. These theories from SpongeTruths promote media illiteracy. They promote looking at things without considering their narrative reasons. Because it does these things, I give it a pass for stuff like this. What this moment is this is from the background of an episode called Lighthouse Louie, where there's just a bunch of Mrs. Puff's like stuff. And there's a folder in the background that says Mrs. Puff on it. Alex Bale uses this as evidence for his argument that Mrs. Puff has a secret identity. The evidence as presented is teachers don't have files with their names on it, usually. Students do. So why would Mrs. Puff have a file that says Mrs. Puff if she's Mrs. Puff? The argument is that that's like where she keeps her like secret identity, you know, documents and stuff. Now, if I were to nitpick that, I would say, well, like the animators just were like, okay, like what's a school thing to put in the background? I don't know, a folder that says Mrs. Puff on it. And they mixed up that students usually have that, not teachers. You know, like I could say that, and that's probably why it's there. But I don't want to say that. Because by this point in the video, this is 6 minutes into the video, Alex Bale has won me over. In these first 6 minutes, he's won me over. He started with much more strong evidence. These theory videos, something that is good about them is they start with the very strong evidence, like how Mrs. Puff says that one time, I need to move to a new town and get a new name. And she goes, no, not again. That's Alex Bale's first piece of evidence. And that's really strong. That clearly shows that the writers are trying to imply something about this character. Joke or no joke, they are implying that Mrs. Puff has some kind of dark past. And because he starts with that evidence, and because he wins you over, I am willing to suspend my disbelief and go, yeah, I'll say that this is that. There's a lot of other cool stuff. I could go on and on about how great this video is, but I don't know. I prefer to talk about bad videos. It's more fun to talk about bad videos than to talk about good videos. You should just go watch Alex Bale's video. He did a fantastic job. Now let's talk about the video itself and its legacy. This is not the only Alex Bale theory. As you can see, his top 3 most viewed videos, put it by popular, are these theory videos. In fact, the top 10, besides the Magic School Bus one, are all SpongeBob. SpongeBob is so popular, man. You just mention SpongeBob on YouTube and you get a bunch of views. I would know. That's how I built the foundation of my career. These are very popular. And because they're popular, there were a couple of imitators. This is not Mrs. Puff, the SpongeBob identity theory. Alex Bale 5 years ago. So 2 years ago, the SpongeBob identity theory. This is not Mrs. Puff. SpongeTruths, the Mrs. Puff criminal theory, Mrs. Puff fraud theory, 1 year ago. Is it possible that these 2 examples are genuine creators who just happened to come up with the same idea? I mean, it's not that crazy. There is that one line where Mrs. Puff says, ooh, not again. Like, there are moments within the text of the show of SpongeBob that imply that Mrs. Puff has some kind of checkered past, and she also goes to prison all the time. Like, it's not a crazy idea to make a video like that, you know? So is it possible that these are just genuine creators who happened to get the same idea? Well, in the case of SpongeTruth, absolutely not, because SpongeTruth is AI. We all know this. So SpongeTruth doesn't write their own videos. They just said, ChatGPT make me a script, or whatever program they use. Everyone says ChatGPT make me a script for SpongeTruth, but it could actually be any number of programs. I don't know if it's specifically ChatGPT. They just go, write me a Mrs. Puff theory video, or a SpongeBob theory video. Maybe they don't even say Mrs. Puff because I don't know anything about the show. I want to start here at a channel called Mustard Pregnancy, which I loathe the name of this channel. We'll start there. And I loathe their weird, cringy profile picture. Okay, so Mustard Pregnancy is often referred to as an AI SpongeBob channel. You see the white backgrounds. Notice that this isn't done a lot anymore. If you see SpongeTruth, they started with white backgrounds. Look, they stopped doing them. So like the white backgrounds were like a big thing, you know, white background character. And then everyone was like, oh, like white background videos are AI. And then people stopped doing them. They went away because people complained about them. Can we maybe shorten it to MP or something? I think you need to hear what the name is every time. I think that that's important. I think that your negative visceral reaction to every time I say Mustard Pregnancy is a part of it. And I think if I called him MP every time, I would not be invoking the feeling of disgust that you should feel every time I say it, and you wouldn't be properly feeling the sense of disgust that you should feel towards this channel. So I did see someone who actually commented on the, I did a little like ad for this stream where I was like, hey, tomorrow I'm going to be streaming this, and the thumbnail of the mustard pregnancy videos in the thumbnail of the stream for this, and someone commented and said mustard pregnancy is not AI. They said they're not AI. So I also looked up AI in mustard pregnancy. This is the YouTube comment finder. So mustard pregnancy, search all videos, and we search AI. They have a lot of comments that say AI. AI produced episode. Are you AI? AI channel. You spend 80% of the video recapping episodes, not giving original input. I don't understand what the theory was. Oh, what video would this be?
We all know Plankton is evil and will do
The SpongeBob chum theory. So apparently
pretty gross.
Apparently this is 80% just recapping. This AI channel wrote, give me SpongeBob Mandela effects. Oh yeah, AI image. So here's a little bit of evidence that mustard pregnancy is AI. Yikes. 1 year ago. You can't tell me you don't know if this is an AI image. Now, someone putting an AI image in their video doesn't mean their script is written by AI or that their voice is AI. I think their voice is real. You can't even know anymore. I guess because it was a while ago, I think the voice would sound more robotic. Oh yeah, another thing about AI is that their very first video, before they started doing like videos, they did like a meme video of Joe Rogan interviews SpongeBob. So listen to this.
SpongeBob, it's an honor to have you on the show.
Bro, no.
So it's like an AI Joe Rogan talking to SpongeBob. Just insufferable. Whoever would find this funny is insufferable.
No problem, Joe. I watch your shit all the time while Sandy gives me the sloppy slops.
This is what we're dealing with. This I'm gonna die of cringe. You what? I'm laughing at the reaction. Oh my goodness. I take it back. It's not funny anymore. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. You know, like someone who like their first video is like they're playing around with AI voice of Joe Rogan interviewing SpongeBob. You take that, okay? And then you take the idea that they're doing these garbage videos, like just like, you know, they're all recapping, they're all like theory this, like, do you really think that someone who is like that they're not just going to be like, oh, there's this thing that can type my scripts for me, and they're just going to be like, nah, I'm not going to use that. I have too much integrity. If that makes sense to you, then fine. I can't really prove it further than that. But as far as like, I'm not proving it in a court of law. I'm proving it into the court of public opinion at that point, you know? One other thing about mustard pregnancy that I think is really important, they have not posted in 8 months. I think they gave up. I think they're done. This has kind of been something I've been talking about a little bit lately, or been noticing lately, is AI channels are kind of starting to go away. A little bit. So, like, SpongeTruth is still kicking it. In fact, SpongeTruth has been doing better. They're not gone, you know, they're not like defeated or anything. Like, SpongeTruth is they're still kicking it. They just got over 500k views on whatever this nonsense. Oh my god, this one I did last, 241k views. This video is nonsense, and I'm sure it has most of those views because it used like Steven Hillenberg's death or whatever to get people to tug on their heartstrings and give it an extra like or something out of like guilt or whatever. I don't know. Oh man, some of these channels have been giving up. Feel like it would have made them a lot of money though. Still, the Giat Karen, 485,000 views. How do we recover as a society from this? I want to see a world where this would not get 485,000 views. I think that should be our goal as the human race, to get to that point. I feel like if we got to that point, a lot of other problems would be solved. I'm just saying that the world where if you posted the SpongeBob Giat Karen and you got like no views because everyone thought that was cringe and wouldn't click on it, in that world, we would also have universal healthcare. So this channel is like kind of gone, but I would like to discuss like this is kind of a historical look at stealing from theories, at taking from theories, and why a lot of these channels don't even really do that much anymore. So let's look at the SpongeBob identity theory from Mustard Pregnancy and see how it compares to Alex Bale's theory. I have not yet watched the copies. I've only watched the original so far. So this is your live reaction. 485,000 views. I could use views like that, but YouTube's algorithm is always broken. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but YouTube's algorithm is not broken. It is working exactly as intended. It is actually incredibly good at getting out videos that people want to see. The problem is the kinds of videos that people want to see. Take a look at my videos, how I present them. It'll probably help you a little bit. I've been starting to really pick up lately.
Bob's boating school instructor is a character born out of necessity when Nickelodeon decided to have SpongeBob attend school. But could Mrs. Puff actually be hiding a dark secret? And I think I finally figured out what she meant by,
I'll have to move to a new city, start a new boating school with a new name.
Okay, so already the first piece of evidence that Alex Bale presented and the first piece of evidence that Mustard Pregnancy presented are the same thing. They're the same thing. Also, I don't know if this is evidence of a ChatGPT script, but the first thing that he said about Mrs. Puff was a behind-the-scenes writing discussion. He said Mrs. Puff was introduced as a compromise to have SpongeBob go to school. That's not really relevant to a video that's a theory about Mrs. Puff having a secret identity. At least I don't think it is. Like, it just seems like a random place to start the video to say, like, the writing reason for this, and, like, here's the in-universe reason. Like, I actually once put that exact fact in my Grandma's Kisses video, but my Grandma's Kisses video was specifically talking about how SpongeBob is a different kind of kid show where the main character is an adult and not a kid. And I talked about the boating school compromise as a piece of evidence to that claim that I was making. I don't really think the boating school writing compromise is a important piece of evidence towards this. Did Alex Bale mention it in his video? I don't think he did, or at least not in that context. It could be, depending on your argument, but it seems like the script was just saying boating school exists because they wanted a compromise between the execs and they wanted SpongeBob to go to school, and then it goes into the theory. Whereas, like, if you look at the first couple of seconds of the Alex Bale video. Okay, like, all right, like 4 seconds in, you know, just with the music, you know, contrasted against the very standard PNG of Mrs. Puff, but, like, let's see what the actual first words are.
This is not Mrs. Puff.
Okay, see, immediately, this is not Mrs. Puff, are the first lines of the Alex Bale video. Immediate thesis, intrigue, exactly what you need. Imagine if Alex Bale's video started with, Mrs. Puff was introduced because the execs wanted SpongeBob to go to school, but the team behind SpongeBob wanted him to be an adult, so it was a compromise. See how much weaker that is than starting with this is not Mrs. Puff in terms of the storytelling? If this is an AI script, which I think it is, I think if you just say, write me a script about Mrs. Puff, because AI doesn't understand story structure or how to really draw people in, it's going to start with, like, find random fact about Mrs. Puff, and it goes with the writing fact, and I just picked that one arbitrarily. Another important distinction too with Alex Bale is a filmmaker, so he not only is good at he not only understands SpongeBob, but he also understands storytelling and the way that you draw people in. I try to do that even with my analysis videos. Even my analysis videos, I try to have some semblance of a story. There's not as much of a story as there would be in a theory video, because a theory is a story, but you try to have that sort of storytelling, that intrigue. And AI it can't the stuff that goes into storytelling and structure. It's so a thing that you can map out what it is. You can write down, like, here's a way to structure a good story, but AI is just never going to make the right decisions because there's too many decisions that it can make to plug something in that it will never pick the correct ones unless it just straight up copied from people, which is why you see a lot of, you know, I mean, it sure copied a lot, but it didn't copy that beginning. Didn't copy that because it's that weird balance where AI, it's trying to be different and it's also copying. But in trying to be different, it loses the things that made the original good. If this even is an AI script, whatever. Obligatory. Every time I say is something AI is alleged, it's even technically alleged to SpongeTruths, though with SpongeTruths, like, come on. But like, that's kind of the sinister thing about AI is you kind of can't prove it unless like they literally left in like hey, ChatGPT, write this for me. Like that would be the only way you could like definitively prove it. Or if they told you. That's what makes it so sinister. Like you can like tell because it's trash or because of this or because of that. And it does make things worse. Like the fact that, oh, you can't even tell. Well, that means AI is fine. It's indistinguishable from a person. Like, no, that's not what, because it's always worse. You know, whenever it's like, we can't tell, it's like, oh, well, like, is this AI or is this a garbage content farm? It's never, oh, is this AI or is this a really good piece of content? That's never the actual question. This frame was very focused on in the Alex Bale video. You know this frame if you've seen the Alex Bale video. He went back to it so many times for good reason in Alex Bale's video because this was a very major piece of evidence. So already the first two things are exactly the same things that were in Alex Bale's video. Let's see if he says something that is not in Alex Bale's video. That's what I would be curious about. It is a much shorter video. It's only 8 minutes long, whereas Alex Bale's is 30. So there's probably not a lot of the same details.
Episodes centered around Mrs. Puff and her boating school are a hit with fans, often exploring themes beyond driving lessons. Like her interactions with SpongeBob are far from one-dimensional, suggesting a layer to her character that I want to dissect. Let's start with the...
Oh, that feels a little like AI-y. It's definitely like kind of boring writing. Like it feels like the writing, the text itself, as someone who writes videos all the time. I'm writing for YouTube videos literally every day. It feels like almost disingenuous. Like it's like
boating school are a hit with fans, often
like I don't know, man. Like I don't think I would really write
episodes centered around Mrs. Puff and her boating school are a hit with fans.
Episodes centered around Mrs. Puff and her boating school are a hit with fans. You feel like that's kind of a nothing statement, you know, like AI written or not, it's just a nothing. You don't need to say, just get on with it. Like, just, you know, like you don't need these fluff sentences. I'll drop something important. Here's something. If you're a writer of YouTube videos, of books, of movies and TV shows, of anything, if you are a writer, one of the most important things that you should learn as a writer is every single sentence is important when you're a writer. If it's not important, you just should cut it. Why would you have sentences that aren't important? This is a very common thing with amateur screenwriters, where they'll have like, you know, scenes where like characters come in and they go like, hello, hi, or whatever. Or like a waiter that's like, can I get you your wine, sir, or whatever. And it doesn't have anything to do with the story. It's just because like, oh, they're in a restaurant. There should be a waiter who says, can I get you wine? Every single thing that you write is important. Every single thing. This is why the idea of AI writing a script and then you go in and edit it makes no sense, because every single thing that's written is important. It goes with this idea that the thought of, oh, well, AI will write the first draft and I'll write the second draft. It has this idea that there are some parts of a script that are fluff, that don't matter, that are like, oh, well, like it might as well just have a robot fill that in and then I'll do the rest. But the rest in that scenario is just all of it. Every single sentence is important. Every single thing that is said in a story, in a YouTube video, should be important. If it's not, you should cut it. You should just cut it. It doesn't matter. A thing only needs to be as long as it is. Obviously, sometimes there are requirements. Sometimes with a YouTube video, you want your videos to be the same length as other videos, or you want them to be over 8 minutes to get mid-roll ads, or like TV shows need to be like 22 minutes long to fit the, you know, the correct time. I guess that's not a thing anymore with streaming. But even in that regard, that if you need your video to be a certain length, that is not an excuse to write lines that don't matter. It's a challenge to make sure that all of the lines that you do write within that time frame are lines that matter. I think you should never use AI for creativity. Defeats the purpose. You are on the right channel. A friend of mine writes as a hobby, and I never realized that these filler sentences were what bothers me. Yeah, you need it to be pointed out. I learned that in school. I have a writing degree, so I learned that in school. Would I say that that's the most important thing I ever learned about writing? I think it is. The other one, and I kind of extrapolated this myself, but I learned it a little bit from teachers, is this is more of a movies and TV show thing, but maybe you can apply it to YouTube writing, is a movie is the main character's most important 90 minutes of their life. So whatever is the most important 90 minutes of the protagonist's life, that's the movie. And you're only showing the audience that.
Often exploring themes beyond driving lessons. They delve into her character's psyche,
often exploring themes beyond driving lessons. Driving lessons is not a theme. Is it trying to say that driving lessons is used to tell the story? I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's just a little clunky.
This episode was one that even when I watched as a kid, I was like,
come on now, dog. Come on, man.
This episode literally...
This person is unbelievably cringe. Oh my goodness. I feel like from even what I've seen, this does say to me that it's a person who did the first draft AI and then they wrote their own stuff in. I see enough of like what feels like human intent in there, but I feel like it's like an AI shell and then they put other stuff in it. Because like that moment right there, that's kind of the same level of cringe as like the Joe Rogan thing and the fact that they're called mustard pregnancy. So like,
I'm sure for many of y'all, to the possible motivations for her being so over.
Also, I do think the voice is real. I do think it's a real voice.
No free rides. It starts off with Mrs. Puff's boating school where SpongeBob flunks his driving test yet again. This time he even runs over the French narrator.
It means another whole year of boarding school!
Despite his optimistic attitude though.
Okay, there was no reason to say that. There's no way that's relevant to the actual theory. A fourth wall break, which is funny because I think Alex Bale tied that moment in when they talked about the television theory, but I think Alex Bale did that because they wanted to explain how the television theory still makes sense even when you see characters' thoughts. And they said it's because it's a cartoon world, and even if they're filming it, it's still a cartoon world, so you see cartoon stuff. Again, I have zero criticisms of Alex Bale's video. But in this video, there is no reason to bring that up. It's literally just mustard pregnancy stealing the joke because it's funny. Because they took a joke that they didn't write and they put it in the video so that it could pad the runtime and make the audience laugh. So people who watch this video see that and then they laugh at it and they think, haha, mustard pregnancy is so funny. Even though that's the SpongeBob writer's joke. You just stole their joke. And you can cite a joke. I just did a Family Guy video, putting clips of the jokes from the Family Guy episode. But I was explaining how those jokes tell the story. And maybe someone who watches it, they'll laugh at the Family Guy joke because I put it in. And they will have that same fallacy where they'll think, oh, Jackson Finelli's so funny when they actually laughed at a joke the Family Guy writers made. You know, that's not great. But like, still, like, I'm not going to not put in the joke when it's important to my video. I put in the joke for another reason. Mustard pregnancy only put in the joke to get brownie points off of the SpongeBob writer's writing. And by the way, SpongeTruth does the same thing all the time. So that's like super SpongeTruth. So that could have come straight out of AI. I feel like AI writing can be felt even if it can't be proven. The sentences here just feel robotic. Yeah, exactly. I always like to say that it's not proven. I think it's important. I think it's always important to say when things are alleged, even if you're really sure. There's also a difference, like with someone like me, I know that thousands of people watch the things that I say. So I'm always very careful about the things I say. I only like make an accusation if I'm very sure about it.
Oh, Mrs. Puff is seriously dreading another year with SpongeBob. She's desperate, so she throws him a lifeline. An extra credit assignment where he has to write a 10-word essay.
It's recapping. Yeah, we already saw this with the comment. It's going to be a lot of recapping. Alex Bale, all of the recapping was relevant.
About what he learned in boating school. SpongeBob overthinking everything.
I can do this. I can do
Like SpongeBob, like literally, like actually, let's see how Alex Bale recapped the same episode. Oh, here we go. Look, no free rides. So this is Alex. So keep in mind, mustard pregnancy has been talking for a solid 30 seconds, just recapping the video, bringing up random jokes, saying, oh, SpongeBob is so nervous about like going over the stuff that is not relevant. And then let's see, no free rides. This is Alex Bale recapping the episode because you have to recap some of the episode in order to give the audience the context.
Free rides, we get the biggest clue about who Mrs. Puff really is. After
Immediately framing. So that's framing the recapping. I am recapping this to tell you this. That's very solid writing. I do that too when I say I am bringing this up to make this point.
SpongeBob fails the driving test yet again, Mrs. Puff has just had it with him and ends up just giving up and giving him his license, even though he never.
Boom. All right. That was, look at that. 9 seconds. 9 seconds. After failing the driving test, Mrs. Puff gives up and gives him his license. Mustard pregnancy.
The French narrator.
The SpongeBob is failing his driving test. He runs over the French narrator.
His optimistic attitude, though, Mrs. Puff is seriously 10-word essay about what he learned in boating school. SpongeBob overthinking everything.
I can do this. I can do this.
What I learned in boating school
Puts in the clips.
is
Like, bro just has to write pretty much anything on this paper and...
Bro just has to write anything on this paper. Yeah, that's the joke. You didn't write it. You're not funny. They are. All right, you don't get to take their jokes.
He can't even write one thing.
Is it hot in here, Mrs. Bob? Why is it so hot in here?
Dude, how do you struggle to pick up just one thing you...
This isn't relevant to Mrs. Puff. Why are you talking about SpongeBob being nervous? I'm sorry, is this the why SpongeBob is nervous theory? 8 seconds. It took Alex Bale 8 seconds to do this recap.
This line was just completely out of pocket. What could possibly get her to say this? When we compare the character...
You know what's funny? I was just compelled and I had to stop myself. I literally, in that moment, I was going to say, dude, relax. It's just a funny line from the writers. I was literally just compelled to say that, even though I watched all of Alex Bale's video where I could have said the same thing that I just said to any of Alex Bale's video. And for some reason, I was never compelled to say that to Alex Bale's video. But I'm compelled to say that here, like, dude, stop taking it so seriously. It's just a line about, like, her having a shady past or whatever. Like, don't overthink it. Like, I feel like I want to say that to this. Yet for some reason, I'm praising the Alex Bale video when you could say the same thing to the Alex Bale video. The difference is obvious. The Alex Bale video wins you over. It wins you over. This video does not win you over. I think a theory is on its own kind of silly, you know? Obviously, writers don't really intend these things most of the time. They might with the Mrs. Puff thing. I feel like the writers are like I feel like they put that joke in and they're like, yeah, like we want it to be like Mrs. Puff is like a wanted criminal. Like I could buy that. I think that's actually very plausible. But not everything in Alex Bale's video is stuff that I think that the writers even thought about. I'm sure a ton of it is like just coincidences or like what I said about the like Mrs. Puff folder. I think that that's just like a background piece that they put in. But like I don't care. He won me over. I'm in it. I'm along for the ride. I'm suspending my disbelief. If you don't earn that, I'm going to be like, chill, bro. It's just a show. And that's the difference when I went over that SpongeTruth stuff in the other video. That's the difference. That's the reason. He won me over. I'm just along for the ride. The quintessential Alex Bale theory experience. Dude, yeah. Like, and that's art. That's what art is. Being good at, you know what? It's also what SpongeBob does. When SpongeBob sucks, when it's not good, the fact that it's like underwater, all of its silliness is annoying. You're like, you're not buying it. You're not along for the ride. But in a good SpongeBob episode, you're like, yeah, I don't care that they're talking fish.
Like for real, Mrs. Puff would rather be in jail than risk being caught because of SpongeBob. In doing time, we get to see things from Mrs. Puff's point of view. This episode provides a deeper insight into her psyche, showing her desperation to
It's just the same episodes as Alex Bale. Yeah, he talked about that. It delves into her psyche doing time. It's just the same episodes.
Escape the endless cycle of teaching SpongeBob and the trauma she faces from trying.
And like, sure, like if you want to have plausible deniability, let's say, oh, Mustard Pregnancy just never heard of the Alex Bale video, which even that, by the way, you should do your due diligence as a YouTuber. You should look up if someone's done the video before. Like I'm planning a Camp Coral mega video where I covered every episode of Camp Coral. I looked up Camp Coral full series review. I didn't find much. You know, if I looked up Camp Coral full series review and a huge channel did it, I might still do my own. Maybe I'd have my own takes, but at least I'd be aware and I'd have to watch that video and be like, okay, like, am I doing the same things as this? Because sometimes you do the same stuff, like, especially if you're a reviewer. Like, I mean, I've done videos that are just review of X SpongeBob episode. Other channels have done that. Like, that is a thing, sure. But I think the more niche the video, like if you're doing like, oh, I'm going to do this video where it's a theory about like Mrs. Puff's past. You can't take 5 seconds to type into YouTube Mrs. Puff theory and see if someone else already did it. Like, really? You know? And let's say you just didn't do that, which is already a problem. But let's say you actually don't know. You've never heard of Alex Bale. Who's Alex Bale? And you didn't use AI and AI didn't steal from Alex Bale. I guess you would come up with the same episodes if you made this theory independently of Alex Bale. I guess that's basically my question. If we lived in an alternate universe where Alex Bale never made that video, would this video exist? I think no.
It starts off with SpongeBob taking his driving test again. And as usual, my dude sucks. He crashes through the boating school and the city, even driving off a bridge the mayor just...
Okay, like it's just recapping. The
open, ending up in a truck full of fruit punch.
In an 8-minute video too. All this recapping in an 8-minute video. Like, that's embarrassing. I can't not write a video that's long. You know, like I don't have 8-minute. Do I have any 8-minute videos? I guess when I was first starting out, my videos were shorter. Like you can't get to 8 minutes without all this recapping. Just steal more of Alex Bale's video. What's the difference at this point? Just recap. It could still be 8 minutes. Just recap more of his stuff. I guess that would be harder because if you're doing mostly recapping, you only have to cover a couple of episodes. If you stole more of Alex Bale's video, you would have to steal different episodes. And that actually would take a little longer editing wise. You could like repeat footage. You only have to find one episode. You don't have to do as much. So I guess because an 8-minute video that covers 4 episodes is easier to edit than an 8-minute video that covers 12 episodes, even though the length of the video is the same. The amount of episodes, it does take a little longer.
He and Patrick try all these ridiculous plans to get arrested and join her in jail. Like,
oh my, this isn't important. You don't need to talk about the schemes that SpongeBob and Patrick do to get her out of prison.
One of the craziest aspects of Mrs. Puff's character is her tragic backstory with her husband, Mr. Puff. In the Krusty Love episode, Mr. Krabs
also in Alex Bale's.
And also, what if Mrs. Puff's frequent overreactions and paranoia are not just a comic relief, but an actual reflection of this
not just this, but this
traumatic past she's trying to escape from? I mean, she won't even
they can be both. It would still be comic relief, even if it was tied to a character thing.
Bro, she's not trying to be seen with you. Like, she chose the most secluded, weird spot for a date, indicating a desire for privacy.
That's like this is like the only part that I think wasn't in Alex Bale's theory, that she went on a date with Mr. Krabs in a secluded place.
And possibly to keep their relationship hidden.
Well, there's like a reason they keep their relationship hidden in this episode, right? I never seen this episode, but like there's like a thing where Mrs. Puff and Mr. Krabs, like they don't want to be known to be together. But isn't there another episode where they're like at the beach? Like there are times where they are seen together publicly. So like, that's bunk.
Her husband died because he owed people a lot of money. Take to account her cousin, for example, Mo Blowfish.
What? He died because he owed people a lot of money?
He's a literal...
I mean, that's not stolen from Alex Bale. At least, like, that was not a thing. It's nonsense.
Con man who hosts a dangerous reality show. Now, he appears in an official SpongeBob SquarePants book called Fearless. Since he's a con man, I believe him, Mr. Puff, and Mrs. Puff con someone very important. Someone they...
That's also not from the Alex Bale theory, some, like, con man thing. So that came from not that, so that's not stealing, I guess. And the theory is a little different. So the Alex Bale theory was that Mrs. Puff had a different student in New Kelp City, and the other driving student was bad like SpongeBob, and she passed him, and there ended up being a huge disaster because of it. And that was like the tragic backstory. So in this one, it's saying that it was not that it was that her and her cousin scammed somebody. So like that's different, I guess. And also it's like it's trash. Like it's just so... it's all recapping, and it says like you can't just recap episodes for 8 minutes and then say one thing that might be like kind of compelling about, she scammed someone. And also like it's not as interesting of a story. Like, oh, like she just like scammed someone. What does that say about character? You know, what does that say about who she is? You know, Alex Bale's thing that told a story, you know, having that past to Mrs. Puff, he used it to tell a story, to invoke an emotional response. This is nothing. This is like, I don't know, maybe she like scammed somebody before, and like that's like why she's on the run. It's just nothing. Just nothing content. Hey, at the Sin of Wrath Vanya with the $5. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, Jackson, I want to ask if you ever thought about checking out Karsten Runquist's 3 theories and giving your thoughts on them. Love your stuff. I've never seen Karsten Runquist. They're not AI, but they were like the first one to do the white background, and then all the AI people took it. Is that correct? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know that much about Karsten Runquist. I'm aware of their existence in this like sphere.
Because they screwed over these people, they turned Mr. Puff into a lamp, and Mrs. Puff was so worried that she went...
Because they screwed over these people. Well, what people? Wouldn't that be an interesting part of the theory? Like if there's supposed to be some hidden intention about, ooh, Mrs. Puff, like Alex Bale, they tied in some things together. They were like, oh, who is the person who's after Mrs. Puff? They had a theory to who it was. The one thing that it didn't do is it didn't have who the old student would have been, the original SpongeBob, who was the bad driver that she passed. I was actually kind of thinking that the Alex Bale video was going to have some kind of bombshell about who that was, and it didn't. But again, like, I don't know. That video won me over. This one didn't. So I'm sitting here saying, oh, they screwed over some people. Well, what people? I feel like there's some other parts that were kind of missed here.
Oh, and about her name change, well, in the original storyboard for Lighthouse Louie, an old newspaper is shown where Mrs. Puff's photo is captioned Bobby Blowfish.
That actually is different than, I don't think Alex Bale used that as evidence. The storyboard, that is different. But it's a storyboard. It didn't make it into the show. So that actually kind of says that they wanted it to not be canon. I guess that could be evidence that the writers were thinking about that. But she does say new name. So I guess that's not that big of a deal. We already knew that she had a different name. All this tells us is that was what the name was.
But don't worry, Mrs. Puff, or Bobby, your secret will always stay safe with me.
Of course that's how they ended it. 93,000 views on that. I haven't posted in 8 months. Don't come back. Give up. I really wonder why they stopped. Maybe they just weren't consistent enough. I don't know. This got over 1 million. The Giat fish over 1 million views. That's even worse than the Giat Karen. Feel like even with 8 minutes, if you got over 1 million views, it's a pretty big paycheck. Alex Bale used the storyboard in his 4.5-hour compilation where he added things he didn't know and he made the original vids. Ah, okay. So Alex Bale just wasn't aware of the storyboard. So you're telling me that Alex Bale made a follow-up video? Okay, so I kind of want to talk about how, like, a lot of SpongeBob a lot of these AI channels have been kind of going away. So, like, Ave, this is a video from 1 year ago, October 2nd, 2024. So about 1.5 years ago, really, closer to that. It shouldn't just say 1 year ago on YouTube. It should be like 1 year months ago. I feel like that would be more useful. 1 year ago, this feels like more than 1 year ago, October 2nd, 2024. So Ave talked about, like, this channel Grapple. I can't find them. Like, I don't know where they are. They had 828,000 subscribers. They don't exist. And, like, they're clearly AI. You can even tell just by the image. But Ave was talking about this. They really blatantly stole the Alex Bale so much more, too. SpongeBob theories, the Squilliam theory, the television theory. They called it the same name. They were so blatant. Life of SpongeBob is apparently, they really blatantly stole Ave's video. Look. So this is Life of SpongeBob, literally like the same, like the cuck episode, but like literally like stealing exactly his thumbnails. This Life of SpongeBob channel was just taking Ave's. Apparently they didn't do very well. And I search Life of SpongeBob and they're gone. They don't exist. Someone using the same, oh no, it's not even the same image. Look at this. Life of SpongeBob, 7 subscribers. SpongeBob first sip of coffee. Okay. Platforming. Platforming. Grapple made a new channel and someone just re-uploaded them. Grapple 1. But, like, they're gone. So, like, a lot of these, like, but, okay, so the difference with, the reason I wanted to bring those up, like, let me see, Grapple 1. At Grapple 1. 330 subscribers. It looks kind of AI-y. Funniest Animals 2023. I guess they pivoted. So, like, the reason that I wanted to discuss these in the realm of mustard pregnancy is some AI channels were gone. So, I think with the case of Grapple and that, like, Life of SpongeBob, I think they actually just got taken down. I think YouTube took them down. Like full stop, YouTube just got rid of them. But with this one, I don't really know why, because I feel like they could really get away with it. Guys, I might have to subscribe to Life of SpongeBob. No, I platformed them. Speaking of platforming, I put this one in the thumbnail, so I have to watch it. So this is Cartoon Exposed, an up-and-comer. I know I'm platforming them. They're not going to be anything. I doubt this is going to, like, make or break them. 2 weeks ago, their first video, Mrs. Puff Theory. Let's see it. It's so obviously AI. Like, it's too obviously AI. And clearly their thumbnails are not good because they don't have a lot of views, so they're not going to be able to get people to watch them. So obviously, like, this is a nothing channel. They're not going to do well. But the reason I want to look at this one, other than just I think it's going to be very funny, is I want to see what a bad AI channel that's failing is doing, or one that just started and is probably going to fail. And then we'll look at the SpongeBob Diaries one. SpongeBob Diaries is similar. It's another AI channel. Ave talked about them. They had like this one that like got like, I guess 16,000 views. That's not bad. They're not like dangerous. They're not, these people aren't gonna, they're not going to be as big as SpongeTruth. It's just not going to happen. They don't know what they're doing. But the reason I want to look at this is I want to see what is it that the AI channels that fail do. How do they fail at getting the viewers to come in? Because clearly something that Mustard Pregnancy does, something that SpongeTruths does. We'll get to SpongeTruths. Is it a Jackson Finale stream without SpongeTruths? I talk about SpongeTruths too much, but I have to for this one because they have a blatant Mrs. Puff one. What does a bad video do? Let's see. The little watermark, cartoon exposed. Got to get your brand out there.
Have you ever wondered why Mrs. Puff, SpongeBob's boating coach, is always so nervous and paranoid? That's because she has always had something shady going on, but we never knew. We're about to find out as we explore a dark and disturbing conspiracy theory.
AI voice? Of course it's an AI voice. No, they hired a voice actor.
She's not just a boating school teacher, she's a convicted criminal. In the episode Doing Time, Mrs. Puff is arrested and sent to jail.
Okay, I mean, like, probably some of the reasons that, like, this doesn't do well where, like, SpongeTruth does, it's the editing. Like, what, like, I mean, it's not just the editing. The audio doesn't sound like it's, like, properly leveled. Like, even with the AI voice, like, the music is, like, louder. But, like, SpongeTruth's, like, and even to a lesser extent, the Mustard Pregnancy did that. There's a lot of editing overcompensation in a lot of those videos, which you have to have a person do that. People have to edit. And it seems like whatever this cartoon exposed thing, they are not interested in having any human involvement in the creation of their videos. Even like this part, like they would have had to plug this footage in somewhere.
What crime did Mrs. Puff commit that led her to prison? It wasn't revealed in the show, but the clues we gathered expose it all.
Wait, what? Wait, what? She got thrown in prison because of the whole thing where they drove into the truck because of SpongeBob's bad driving and she got blamed for it. What are you talking about? You know what this could teach us though is that like SpongeTruths is never that wrong. SpongeTruths get stuff wrong, but they are never that wrong. So like AI can get stuff really wrong, it seems. I wonder why this is more wrong than SpongeTruths. Because SpongeTruths doesn't watch the show. So like if a SpongeTruth script said that, how would SpongeTruths know that it's wrong and not put it in? And I know SpongeTruth gets stuff wrong all the time, but like they never get stuff that wrong. So it's an interesting question.
This suggests that Mrs. Puff is not a highly skilled teacher and may have promoted students even if they didn't know how to operate a boat. In fact, she only promotes SpongeBob because she can't stand having him as a student anymore, which confirms it. There are also hints throughout the animated
which confirms it.
Series that Mrs. Puff is not mentally.
There are also hints throughout the animated series.
There are also hints throughout the animated series that Mrs. Puff is not
40 seconds in throughout the animated series. Okay, but this is actually kind of interesting to see that an AI script will say things that are this off when SpongeTruths is not this off. Really getting the old noggin going. Hate how SpongeTruths gets views? Yeah, it's bad. Mostly kids. Which is also bad. Like, kids are people too. You know, sometimes we take solace in that. We're like, oh, SpongeTruth gets views, but they're all iPad kids. And like, you can get a little bit of solace in that in terms of like the general population. Okay, they're not all that dumb. They're getting the views just because of kids. Obviously, adults are watching it too. But like, kids are people too, and they're still having their brain rotted by SpongeTruths when they should be, you know, doing things that are just better to, or like watching an episode of SpongeBob even. Like, they don't have to always be like reading books or whatever, you know. Reading books is good, but even if they're watching SpongeBob or playing a video game, at least that would expand their mind, whereas SpongeTruth is just nothing content.
Shows Mrs. Puff has violent tendencies. Why does Mrs.
Okay, away with you, Cartoon Exposed. Goodbye. There's nothing left with Cartoon Exposed. There's nothing left. That's it. That's the end of it. My younger siblings are iPad kids, and I trust them to not watch AI slop. Yeah, you just gotta monitor them. You just gotta monitor kids. It's pretty easy to avoid. You know, I didn't think I was going to cover SpongeBob Diaries because they're just so small. 325 subscribers. Like, these people are a joke. I thought that when Ave covered them, and Ave's video on them is great, by the way. Ave covered this video, AI Crisis, because it talked about the Smart Artificial Intelligence episode, which is an episode that is critical of AI. So I thought that was a good video. And it was one of their videos that kind of like popped off. So I think Ave was like kind of like nipping it in the bud of like, oh, if this channel does go big, he wants to cover them before they get big. I don't think this channel is going to get big. I think this channel is going to be gone soon. I think that they're going to realize that this is not going to make the money, that they're not going to be as big as SpongeTruths. Look at this. The episode that showed they lied to your face, 28 views 2 weeks ago. That's not getting more. That's done. That's donezo. They're finished. This channel is a joke. But I do want to look at this video that I think is stealing Alex Bale, the SpongeBob episode that reveals what Mrs. Puff actually did, because I think it's important to see how these smaller, worse AI channels, and by worse, I mean just worse at getting views, do it. And then we'll do SpongeTruths. We're going to edit. We'll end it on SpongeTruths.
Traumatized character in Bikini Bottom isn't Plankton, isn't Squidward.
So they really try to do the editing. They're just so bad, though. Like, this editing is trash, man. You're not going to get the iPad kid retention like this. It's not going to happen. What is this background? It's not SpongeBob. Look at this. Look at those regular fish. Dude, there's so many. I don't think this background is AI, but like, there's so many SpongeBob backgrounds. Why are you using a generic ocean background? It looks wrong to have a generic ocean background on a SpongeBob video. You should have the SpongeBob, because this ocean, this kind of ocean literally does not exist in the SpongeBob universe, because it's the SpongeBob ocean. Just use a background from the show, man.
Welcome back to SpongeBob Diaries, where we dive deeper than
Welcome back to SpongeBob Diaries. Before we realize that our content farm is not gonna make us any money, and we'll move on to some other grift.
anyone should into the disturbing truths hiding beneath Bikini Bottom. Today,
The SpongeTruths hiding in Bikini Bottom?
we're examining the psychological profile.
Also, this is bad YouTubing in general. So a lot of times when YouTubers start out, they do stuff like this where they'll be like,
Diaries, where we
hi, welcome to SpongeBob Diaries. Like, I actually did this in a couple of videos. You probably have seen it in some of my videos that did very well. I did stuff like this. Like I have where I'm like, my name's Jackson and welcome to my channel where we see how stories and I don't remember what it was. I had like some kind of like saying that I wanted to be like a tagline. And eventually I just stopped doing it. With YouTube, it just doesn't work with YouTube videos. YouTube videos don't need intros where you like introduce yourself. Like we think that they do because TV shows have that, but TV shows and YouTube videos are different mediums, so they don't need that. So like this is an element of why SpongeBob Diaries is not going to do well, is they don't understand, like even if your SpongeTruths and you use AI and you have no integrity and your content is trash, there are still things that you need to do that are the technique of being a YouTuber that if you don't do them properly, you're going to screw yourself up. Like having a like long-winded intro where you're like, hi, I'm this, you lose people, especially if you do it early on in the video. This is before even the first 30 seconds or in the first 30 seconds.
dive deeper than anyone should into the disturbing truths hiding beneath Bikini.
It's after the first 30 seconds, but like still early on, it's just a dip, you know, and like your viewership, they're going to like pop off there, even if they are. And this is already with the people who haven't popped off because the voice is boring as hell. It's clearly AI. It's like, it's horribly edited.
We're examining the psychological profile of Mrs. Penelope Puff.
Is that her canon name? Is her name Penelope Puff? Oh, well. Okay, her name is Penelope Puff. That's so, I've been watching Mrs. Puff theories. That's the first time someone called her Penelope Puff. That's her canon name. That is her first name. Weird that this is the first one that said it. Probably, I think that's an AI thing. AI is like, calls her Penelope Puff because it pulls it from the internet, whereas a human written script would probably not even, I could write a whole Mrs. Puff video and I wouldn't even think that her name is Penelope. I will now because of the stream, but maybe I will do that. Maybe I will write a Mrs. Puff video and I'll be like Penelope Puff as like a little thing. So like, could be either or, but still.
Woman who changes her identity, suffers from crippling anxiety, and has canonically been incarcerated.
Well, I guess that proves it's a real voice. It also proves that the real voice is a moron.
And has canonically been incarcerated.
Canonically. Or wait, maybe not. Maybe it is still an AI voice. But it's just spelled wrong, right? Because you could spell it wrong. Canonically. If you spell canonically wrong and you put it into the AI voice generator, it could be wrong, right? I think maybe it's a voice, but it's reading an AI script. I feel like a voice is easier than a script. I feel like it's easier to get someone to voice act a script. Like you find someone on like Fiverr or whatever. And if you're really interested in obfuscating that you're AI, you're gonna want to hire a voice actor. I say this about No Villains Are Safe. A lot of people think the No Villains Are Safe voice is AI. I'm still on the fence about it. Like there are things that make me think it is, things that make me think it's not. Obviously, the fact that it's even a debate, it shows that they're an awful voice actor if they are a person. Because if you can be like, maybe they're AI, like, you know, probably not very good at doing a voice. But like a bad voice and an AI voice, you can't tell the difference because they're bad. And that's just a fact, by the way. Someone got mad at me once. They were like, you said that a bad voice is the same as an AI voice. And I'm like, well, I don't mean like in my opinion. Like, of course, I'd rather listen to a real voice that isn't good at voice acting than an AI voice that isn't a person. But like factually, if you are bad at voice acting, yeah, you sound like an AI, like, you know, like that, because that's what AI does. It sounds like a person who's bad at voice acting because it can't hit the actual like inflections that a voice does.
Every single one of her behaviors matches the clinical symptoms of someone living with.
I said this in a recent video about like talking about like clinical symptoms and like diagnosing characters. I said it very matter-of-factly. It's kind of similar to what I said about the theories where I was like really hard on like, oh, you know, that's just a thing the writers did. Don't take it too seriously. And I said something very similar in another video where I said like SpongeTruth was saying that like Mr. Krabs has like objectophilia. And I was like, stop using like real things to refer to fictional characters. But when AI does it, they do it so shallowly and they do it in a way that it just comes off as crass and annoying. And they're doing it. It's just, you're using like actual serious issues that people have and you're tying it into your stupid AI video and like you're not providing value. And when you take I think what it is that when you take something as serious as talking about real life mental health issues and you do it right, that can be really valuable, even if you do tie it to a fictional character. But if you take it and you do it wrong, it goes backwards and it does even more damage because it's powerful. Talking about mental health issues is it's a very powerful subject. So if you do it wrong, you're going to do more harm because it's such a powerful thing. And I think that's kind of the problem with AI doing is that AI will always do it wrong.
And when you piece together the timeline of her past, the real horror story one overlooks. What kind of boat?
I can't sit through this whole one. We're going to have to jump around this one. I have to give more time to SpongeTruth just because SpongeTruth actually gets views and they're more dangerous.
And here's where it gets even more disturbing. In No Free Rides.
Why would you put that? Like, you know that face looks ugly. Why would you put such an ugly looking face in?
This is a clinical symptom of trauma response. Her...
Are you a doctor? It's a clinical... I would never say that. This is a clinical symptom?
SpongeBob finds an old newspaper hidden in Mrs. Puff's stuff.
He doesn't find it. He actually isn't aware of it. Only the audience can see it. SpongeBob doesn't comment on it. If he found it, he would have commented on it.
Headline says, deranged...
Okay, so they're stealing from Alex Bale. So this is like Alex Bale theory plus overly explaining like mental health symptoms. Why is SpongeBob Diaries failing? Why did they not do good? I think we have our answer. Their narrator is horrible. Even if it is AI, get a new AI then, you know, like if you're doing they just picked the worst voice for it, you know. At least the SpongeTruth's voice works, you know. I mean, I hate AI voices. They're awful. It's just poorly paced, it's poorly thought out, and it just is not, they just don't get it. They just don't know how to do the things that YouTubers need to do. It's interesting because like I think looking at something like SpongeBob Diaries and the fact that it's like, you know, I think what we can learn from this is there are still things you need to do to like be successful on YouTube. This is not to say that SpongeTruth deserves their subscribers. They deserve none of them because their scripts are written by AI and the voice is AI, and that invalidates all of your content. Even if you make some right decisions with the pacing of your video and the way that the edits that it slides in and all that, even if you make some correct decisions, your entire video, your entire channel is still invalid if you use AI to write the scripts and AI to do the voice. I wholeheartedly believe that. But in knowing what to look for and in knowing what kind of content is more dangerous, seeing that comparison to something that's a failure like SpongeBob Diaries is, I think, valuable. SpongeTruth's Mrs. Puff Criminal Theory, their 4th video. SpongeTruth's, this was their first video, at least their first video on the channel. Like maybe they had earlier ones and they deleted them, so I don't know that for sure. Their first 5 videos, maybe their first 7 videos, I don't know if this is a theory. It just says SpongeBob's Mysterious Jellyfish Jelly. It looks like a theory, it just doesn't say the word theory. They started just doing theories, SpongeTruths, because that was the huge thing in that time where it was ripping off Alex Bale theories. The AI channels don't really do theories anymore. In fact, what the AI channels are doing now is stuff like what I do, where they talk about episodes, or the big thing now is what No Villains Are Safe is doing. No Villains Are Safe is a big thing. The big trend now on YouTube is like ranking every this, you know, what did every character do this? Even I did something like it with ranking every time the Krusty Krab got destroyed. You know, that was a huge video for me where I was like, all right, if I take every time, like, obviously this video is much better than anything No Villains Are Safe or SpongeTruth has ever done, because this video talks about story and it talks about the concept of what it means for something to be narratively deserved. I'm very proud of this video. It's so much more than just saying, this happened and recapping episodes. Like this video has a lot of substance. This ranking every time the Krusty Krab got destroyed. I'm very proud of it. That's like kind of what's in right now, you know? So like SpongeTruths is like doing that now. But back then, this was like the theory time. And I think the reason that like the theories have kind of fallen out of favor is just they're kind of out of them. Like there's only so many theories you can really make. There actually was a good one. I want to give a shout out to a human creator. Like, not to say that no one makes theories at all. This guy, SpongeBob Historian, they're kind of a up-and-comer. Yeah, their big pop-off recently was something called the police state theory. I watched this video. This was a pretty good one. Is Bikini Bottom secretly a police state? This is very similar to like an Alex Bale video where they go over episodes and they make so there's still a place for theory videos. Maybe I should make one. You know, I'd only make one if there's 2 requirements. There are 2 things that have to be true in order for me to make a theory video, if anyone would like for me to see one. First off, the main one, there's got to be a good story. There's got to be something within SpongeBob that I notice that I can be like, that's the theory. And it's got to be original. It's got to be like, I got to have the right stuff, you know? I got to have the right concept. If I don't have the right concept, if I don't come up with anything, then I can't do it. But the other one would be, if I did a theory, I would want to tie it into story and storytelling and all that sort of stuff. That would be important to me because that's like my channel. That's my main thing. I wouldn't want it to be exactly the same as Alex Bale, where I would just be like presenting a theory. Not that there's nothing wrong with just doing a theory where you're telling a story. That's Alex Bale's thing. He did a great job with it. But I would want to tie it into storytelling and my main theme. So those are the 2 prerequisites of if I were to do a theory video. But let me know if you think that you would like to see my take on a SpongeBob theory video, if I can come up with something that feels organic, that feels really good. Theory: Sneakers O'Toole is the Hummer guy who merges without looking. My proof is that they have the same head shape and that's it. I can't milk Sneakers O'Toole. I feel like this was already a miracle that my Sneakers O'Toole is popping off. I can't come back and be like, Sneakers O'Toole theory. It's done. I did it. It happened. Sneakers O'Toole was great for the channel. It's gonna be a defining video of the channel. It's gonna help me transition into making content covering Family Guy. Let it rest, you know? Let it rest. I said that in one of my earliest videos, my Nosferatu video. When something's great, when it pops off, but it popped off because it was unique. In that moment, I came up with this video idea about, I think Sneakers O'Toole should take his sneakers off. And that's what it is. It was lightning in a bottle. And now I let it rest. I let it rest. It's out there and I hope people will enjoy it for years to come. But it's time to move on, you know? I won't milk Sneakers O'Toole. You're not going to see another Sneakers O'Toole next week just because it's trendy. Funny idea though, the theory. But I don't want to milk Sneakers O'Toole. I could do a Family Guy theory. Like I could do that instead of a SpongeBob theory. I feel like if I was going to do a theory, it should be SpongeBob. SpongeBob will probably always be my biggest show that I cover. That's always probably going to be the big ticket show. All right, now for the grand finale, SpongeTruth presents Mrs. Puff Fraud Theory, Mrs. Puff Criminal Theory. Only 25k views. I guess it was one of their earlier ones. Oh no, my 4th video was Avatar: The Last Airbender. That one didn't do so well. My 5th video was Nosferatu, so I actually popped off pretty fast. Huh, my first video has more views than SpongeTruth's first video. It's kind of interesting. Even though SpongeTruth has way more subscribers, but they post more.
But what if I told you the truth is even darker than you can imagine?
Kind of copying Mustard Pregnancy. Right? Was Mustard Pregnancy older? Yeah, older, 2 years ago. I don't know the exact timeline, but Mustard Pregnancies was first. So they were just ripping, do a lot of other ones do white backgrounds? Oh wait, why don't I check? Someone was talking about this Karsten Runquist. The SpongeBob, the Spongehenge theory shirt. Let's see what.
Very unsettling.
Oh, it's a ripoff of Karsten Runquist. Okay, so the white background in the video is a ripoff of Karsten Runquist. I don't personally love it, to be honest. I don't like, I mean, no hate on Karsten Runquist as a human creator. I don't really know much about Karsten Runquist. If they're a human creator, I'm sure this video is good. I'm sure it's a good video. I don't know. I haven't seen it. You know, I can't fully advocate for it, but like, I don't love it. Like if you look at like my videos, I like having the background of the show. You know, I like it with the SpongeBob background, you know. I like the way that I do it. I don't love the white background, especially with like no border. I guess it's a tone thing. I guess with maybe what Karsten Runquist is going for, the white background sets the tone more. But then all the AI channels stole it, so it makes them look bad. That's who you brought up earlier. I know, you helped me. That's why I searched it. So thank you. This is why I love chat, because they'll actually give me info while I'm doing this.
Your normal small-town go-getter, a self-made woman with humble ambitions and a peaceful dedication to her passions, hobbies, and life in general. With her—
What is this shaking? My goodness. The editing got a lot better. No wonder this has fewer views than a lot of their other videos.
Her driving school attached to a submerged lighthouse and surrounded by a stunt driving course, she lives a dream life in Bikini Bottom.
I'm getting seasick here. My goodness, all the shaking.
Teaching is her true passion, and she's proud of her ability to have helped nearly every student in Bikini Bottom master the art of driving.
You get on with it. Teaching is her passion, and she's proud to blah, 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 blah.
Except SpongeBob, that is. She and SpongeBob are always on an endless quest to get him a...
I think they've all said some version of that. She's passed every student except SpongeBob. SpongeBob's the only person who hasn't passed. I know that's like an obvious observation, but that is from the Alex Bale video.
The life Penelope Puff lives is a sham.
Penelope Puff! We got another Penelope Puff! Okay, but like, is that it trying to be like fancy, or is it just because the AI just skims the wiki and the first thing it says is Penelope Puff? And it just thinks that that's her name when she's like never called. What episode is she called Penelope Puff, by the way? Like, I didn't even know that was her canon name. I'd never seen her called that. Probably the AI skimming the wiki. Same with the AI calling the French narrator Frenchie. Oh, true. It did call the French narrator Frenchie. And I thought that was so weird. And it turns out the wiki is like the French narrator, sometimes called Frenchie.
And Bikini Bottom isn't the only place she's ended up. She also has a past in New Kelp City, although...
Oh, wow. That's so blatant. That's so stolen from Alex Bale. That's more blatant than Mustard Pregnancy. Also, so matter of fact.
Bikini Bottom isn't the only place she's ended up. She also has a past in New Kelp City. So when Alex Bale said that she has a past in New Kelp City, that was a big drop. He was like, she was in New Kelp City. But SpongeTruth is saying it like that's just like kind of common knowledge, because SpongeTruth isn't aware that that's actually a big reveal, that she used to live in New Kelp City. Alex Bale was aware because Alex Bale actually watched the show, and this didn't. It lied to you. Mrs. Puff's psyche is hooked in a deranged loop, where she's trying to live a normal life, but her past keeps catching up to her.
Doing here so much. Whatever this is.
It's going on.
That's not her past catch. Wait, that doesn't happen.
Wait, that her past keeps catching up to her. That actually doesn't happen. In fact, what made the Alex Bale theory interesting is that her past does not catch up to her very often, and the things that Alex Bale claimed were consequences of her past were things that rarely occurred that you had to really look for. That's what made it interesting. If you're saying her past is always catching up to her, then that means that something about her past is in like every other episode, in which case, why are you making a theory? It would just be common knowledge. Also, you're showing a clip from the episode where SpongeBob and Patrick think that everyone in Bikini Bottom is aliens, and they put her in a sack. So the context of this scene has nothing to do with her past. It's literally just SpongeBob and Patrick thinking that she's an alien. Jackson, what would you say is the worst AI video you've watched so far from these channels was? Boring answer, but it's probably a tie between all of the SpongeTruth videos that have provocative imagery in the thumbnails. So the what if Mr. Krabs has a fetish, the what if SpongeBob and Sandy had a baby, and the most censored episode of SpongeBob with the like censorship one. They just are provocative thumbnails, and they're designed to catch the attention and the curiosities of children so that they click on them. And I think that that's just really nasty. Beyond that, worst quality wise, it's got to be what if SpongeBob was an alcoholic. That video is just unsavable. No, it's actually not. No. What is, it might be a toss up. It might actually be the, what if SpongeBob became a father? What if SpongeBob and Sandy had a baby? Because they were just repackaged fan fictions. There's just those were just awful.
SpongeBob has failed his driving test with her a staggering 1,258,056 times.
Oh my god, the number. Like, you know, again, like this is giving me pause because like I'm looking at the whole like, oh, he failed his driving test 1 million times, and what I want to say is, it's just a joke. It just was a way of saying, hey, SpongeBob is a bad driver. So they had the guy say he failed it over 1 million times. But like, if Alex Bale said he failed his driving test over 1 million times, I'd be like, yeah, because Alex Bale won me over. This video did not win me over. So I'm groaning when they're saying, he failed his test 1 million times. Oh my God.
Which will make anyone.
No villains are safe observation. This was literally in a no villains are safe video. So yes, you are very correct.
The episode No Free Rides and Bumper to Bumper both feature infinite pictures of Mrs. Puff on the wall of her home. A cycle that just keeps turning.
The infinite pictures.
Never ending.
That's Alex Bale. Alex Bale went. This is just lifting. This is shamelessly lifting. Mustard Pregnancy basically just used the same episodes and just kind of recapped episodes very boringly. This is just shamelessly stealing from Alex Bale. You know what the difference is? I'm going to assume that Mustard Pregnancy used AI to write the first draft of the script and then edited it. I think that Mustard Pregnancy watched Alex Bale's video and went out of his way to not fully steal it. And I think that SpongeTruths is not even aware that Alex Bale exists. They don't do their research, and they just said, AI, write me a script about Mrs. Puff, and the AI stole from Alex Bale, and they didn't take it down. They didn't change it. They didn't shift it around. That's what I think happened when they stole my video, and they stole my Bizarro Bottom video. I don't think they watched my video. I think that the AI just took my observations, and they don't even know who I am.
In SpongeBob Long Pants, we see Mrs. Puff waking up from a nightmare where SpongeBob passes his test with another instructor, manifesting her real yearning and ending the cycle. How tight her...
Is it going to say, so Alex Bale said that the reason that Mrs. Puff wakes up at night and SpongeBob gets his driver's license in the daytime. So Alex Bale used that as evidence to say that the episode was all in Mrs. Puff's head. It was a dream from Mrs. Puff, a manifestation of her fears, which would make the story still meaningful even if it was a dream.
Grip on reality is, at this stage, is questionable, because we even see her having a conversation with an ice sculpture of SpongeBob at a party, as if it's the real thing. But what really intrigues me is...
We even see her... Okay, so it didn't do that with the night and day, but it just said we even see her having a conversation with an ice sculpture at a party, which is straight from Alex Bale. And it didn't even show the footage. Probably because the AI script didn't say what episode it was from. I bet the editor just glazed right over it and was just like, well, you're not telling me what episode it's from. They wouldn't know it was from SpongeBob's house party.
This.
Yes, all alone in in my nice soft room.
Made of sponge.
What is this? What is this? What is this accordion music? You hear this music? Wait.
Is
What's the music?
Yes, all alone in my nice soft room.
What is it? What is the music? It's like German Oktoberfest music. Like
Can't believe it. It was all a dream. I'm not going to jail.
Why would you go to jail? You already did your time.
Now, what in the name of Poseidon's pecs is that all about?
what in the name of Poseidon's pecs was that all about? Would AI come up with that?
Mrs. Puff ran away from a dark criminal past life.
Local consensus places the blame on this negligent, selfish driving instructor who...
And I believe that her driving school...
So it just said she ran away from her past once, and it shows... So this footage is not... This footage is in her mind. SpongeTruth is presenting this like it's when she ran away from her past because this happened. Alex Bale referenced this as because the realistic fish head has hair, that this is in Mrs. Puff's mind, this is her past. That's the theory from Alex Bale. And that's why the realistic fish head has hair here and he never has hair anywhere else. But SpongeTruths is just messing that all up and is saying this is when she ran away from her past without that extra context.
And I believe that her driving school is some kind of safe house, not organized by the police, but rather by a crime family she used to be a part of.
There's
this
footage playing in the back. Look at this editing error.
And I believe that her driving school is some kind of safe...
Oh, look! Wait, look, they didn't get rid of the episode. Look at the background. This is so funny.
House, not organized by the police, but rather by a
Look, the episode is just playing in a bigger box behind this one. What a disaster.
Family she used to be a part of. This could be partly a way to keep her...
Are there what is going on? Look at this. Look at all the different boxes. Look at all the different things. Oh my goodness. The editing. Yeah, they're playing all the clips on top of each other. What is going on?
Safe from the authorities, but sometimes it also feels like a punishment. Something that can be taken away at any moment. If she doesn't perform to their standards.
I was hoping that was going to be like the rest of the video. How is this channel successful? That is what we actually learned from looking at it compared to SpongeBob Diaries. So this is one of their earliest videos and it didn't do as well. So... this video is going to have a lot more mistakes. If you watch some of my other videos where I go over some of the more recent SpongeTruth videos, you'll see they have a lot of over editing. The actual like content of the video is trash. Like the video, it's saying nothing. It's, you know, it's bad substance, obviously, but there are things that it does with its editing that hooks people's attention, mostly probably iPad kids. Getting views with AI is not as simple as AI write you a script, make the AI voice the script. Well, there are more things you have to do. It doesn't make you a good creator, even if you do understand those other things, but still. There are things that it does do beyond just saying AI make me a video. It's not at that point yet where you could say AI make me a video and it will make a perfect video. It probably will never be at that point. I think that there are just some things that are just too precise.
Is when she gives SpongeBob a fake license in the episode No Free Rides.
Besides,
she does not give him a fake license. She's the driving teacher, so she gives him the license. I know that in real life, the license comes from the DMV and but the driving teacher signs off on it. This is where you do have to be media literate. In real life, the driving teacher, provided the driving teacher is also administering the test, which usually they don't, driving teacher and driving test proctor are usually different people. In fact, I think that would be a conflict of interest in real life. If the person who was your driving teacher then administered the test, I think that those are supposed to be two different people. But again, it's a cartoon. It's better for the cartoon that the same character who teaches the driving school is also the one who administers the test. Because wouldn't that be boring? Imagine how boring that would be if Mrs. Puff was just the teacher and then a different character did the driving test. Oh no, but let's do the actual realism, because in real life, you wouldn't even get the same proctor every time. So every time SpongeBob retakes his test, it would just be a different character every time. This is what you want, SpongeTruths, for everything to be real. See what happens when you don't win the audience over? that they can just poke holes in everything. I can't do this with an Alex Bale video. Imagine if I sat here and tried to be this pedantic about an Alex Bale video. You'd tear me apart. You'd be like, what are you talking about? This video, the video's too solid, but with this, you're poking all the holes in it. So they're saying that Mrs. Puff, because Mrs. Puff gave SpongeBob the license, and usually the driving teacher doesn't give you the license, that Mrs. Puff forged the license. But doesn't Mrs. Puff give him real licenses when he passes for real? Oh, in that other episode, the one that they mentioned in this one, with the SpongeBob long pants, the driving instructor also hands him the license. And it's printed and everything. Also, usually you have to wait 2 to 4 weeks for your license to come in the mail. Yeah, how did Mrs. Puff forge the license so quickly? Wouldn't SpongeBob have to wait to get it in the mail? Well, because it's a cartoon. Because the story is SpongeBob gets his license in this scene, so Mrs. Puff hands it to him. It's that simple. And you know what? Alex Bale would never, Alex Bale wouldn't do that. Alex Bale would not say this is a problem exclusive to AI. Only AI would make that stretch, or a really awful video maker who just is not thinking about what they're doing and they're just bad at their job. But a good theorizer is not going to go, Mrs. Puff must have forged the license because you have to get it made at the DMV. That is not something that they would do. The Alex Bale evidence is always so much stronger when there's an inconsistency. The whole Mrs. Puff has her name on a folder and it's in the background. That's much stronger from Alex Bale as evidence. Because that's not something that's as focused on. It's not something that, you can clearly explain away by going, well, they're just trying to tell the story, because there would be unreasonable for there to be a scene where SpongeBob goes to the DMV. Is that what you want to watch? You want to watch SpongeBob go to the DMV? That's your take. But it's also just the AI getting it wrong, because it's actually saying matter-of-factly, Mrs. Puff forged a fake license when that is not said in the episode at all. So they're not even saying, how would Mrs. Puff give SpongeBob a license if she's the teacher? If you're going to make that theory, you could at least say that. Oh, how would Mrs. Puff give SpongeBob the license if she's the teacher? Only the government through the DMV issues you your license at the behest of a driving instructor who says that you passed the test. That's the actual process. If you said that, sure, but you're just saying you're taking at face value, expecting us to take at face value, Mrs. Puff forged the license when nothing in the text says that.
Also hotwires and steals SpongeBob's boat car, dressed in a black mask that fits her like a glove.
Love that just awful editing there. It cuts to the outside of the door and then it cuts to the part where she's wearing the ski mask. Even though he said she's wearing a black mask and it took a second to cut it. It's just, this is their 4th video, so clearly they fixed a lot of that stuff. They still have editing quirks. Again, you can see my other videos on it.
I hope I still remember how to do this.
She does this because she's afraid of the devastation SpongeBob will inflict on Bikini Bottom if he drives. But this...
I like how it had the clip of her saying, I hope I remember how to do this. And it has her starting to blow up the balloon, which is the joke. And then it cuts away. It's just a mess. That's just a mess.
You've already established that it is a place she can get...
Why did it just use Mrs. Puff from Pest of the West? That's not actually Mrs. Puff. That's a version of her that lived in the Old West. What a weird image to use.
As the viewer, we know without a doubt that Mrs. Puff has a sordid past. For instance, when SpongeBob works at the Salty Spittoon in the episode Salty Sponge, Mrs. Puff comes...
Wow, something that wasn't in Alex Bale's video. Alex Bale's video was probably before this episode aired, huh? I don't know exactly when this episode aired, but Alex Bale's video was 5 years ago. I feel like he would have mentioned it.
Asks Mrs. Puff why she needs the artwork, she responds in a serious tone with, "Don't ask questions you're not prepared."
Using a video game as evidence. I guess that's not stolen from Alex Bale.
But includes items like treasure chests, a teddy bear, a diamond ring, a necklace, a television, and even SpongeBob's diary.
So Alex Bale did something similar with this, where he listed the objects in this shot here, and he said, and SpongeBob's diary, and he said, wait, SpongeBob's diary? What? Why does she have SpongeBob's diary? That should be in SpongeBob's house. And then he used that for evidence that she's a kleptomaniac and more of it was just part of the theory. But the SpongeTruth is just listing the things and says SpongeBob's diary and doesn't add it to the theory. And it's just an example of SpongeTruth taking a scene that has a list of things and just listing the things to waste time. Does that even count since it comes from a game that might not be canon? None of it counts because they haven't won me over. If you do a good theory video and you win me over and you say, here's some evidence that's from a game or from a comic or from a book, I'm not gonna get mad at you and say, oh, that's probably not canon. You win me over. If you're making a good solid theory with a good solid story, this is not. They did not win me over.
But one of the most telling items, except for the New Kelp Post newspaper, is a folder with the name Mrs. Puff written on a tab. Now, this can either be...
Dude, just right from Alex Bale, man.
At this stage, her life's a mess.
Look at the little snail. Look at the little friend. Look at the little friend. I love the little baby snails at the end of this episode. They're so cute.
At first, she thought the best way to get away from SpongeBob and whoever else is in charge of the driving school and her life is to go to jail. Behind bars, no one can hurt her, right? And she just loves it there.
Well, she didn't choose to go to jail to get away from her life. She ended up going to jail and realized that she liked it there once she got there because she realized that there was no more SpongeBob. She didn't choose to go to, again, just the AI getting it wrong. You should hide that snail in one of your videos. That would be funny. Maybe I should. Maybe that could be like a new gimmick.
She does anything she can to end up in the safety of the slammer, from crashing into a police car and ditching jury duty to littering.
What? What are you talking about? She didn't do any of those things on purpose. It's actually claiming that she goes to jail on purpose to get away from SpongeBob. But wouldn't she, if she's constantly running away, wouldn't that mean that she's afraid of going to jail, afraid of the law catching her?
The part I love and that intrigues the hell out of me is that she leaves balloon animals at the scenes of her crimes, which is also stated in the New Kelp Post, and which we see when she steals.
Alex Bale did that. Just, I don't know. Maybe if you're counting, or should we have kept count? Drinking game. Do a shot every time SpongeTruth steals something from Alex Bale in this video.
SpongeBob's car. It's not the fact that a pufferfish from deep in the ocean knows what a giraffe looks like that arouses my curiosity, but rather the reason she leaves them lying around. It's supposedly to confuse the police, but
it's a reference to the earlier episode. The fact that they put that in a later episode is an Easter egg to the earlier episode where she makes the balloon animal. See, again, look, I'm compelled to like correct them.
Shell City? Now, if you've seen the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, you'll know that Shell City is a...
Ah, yes. If you've seen the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, the famous Shell City scene from the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. Again, it's just the editor doesn't know and SpongeTruth doesn't know. They don't know. They just search SpongeBob movie poster and they grab that one because they don't know the show that they're talking about.
And in this shop hangs the dried out corpse of a blowfish. Also, Mrs. Puff briefly mentions
the blowfish. It's just Alex Bale said the same thing. The blowfish from Shell City is Mrs. Puff's husband. Yes. I don't need to hear you say it.
Mrs. Puff is in a romantic relationship with Mr. Krabs. Their relationship begins in the episode Krusty Love, Season 2, Episode 3, where Mr. Krabs falls for Mrs. Puff and tries to impress her.
This is not Krusty Love. This is a future episode. I guess I should answer the question, who stole it best? So of the 4 atrocious videos that I just watched, I guess mustard pregnancy wins by default. Just because I guess that was the least terrible and the least stolen from Alex Bale. Imagine in the future you realize there's no normal way to watch SpongeBob and the only way you can is by seeing AI correctly explain them. That is a dystopian future if I ever heard one.